Forgot what I was doing. We're talking about EDC. What's up, guys? Roy here. Today I'm going to cover my EDC. Roll the intro. Hey guys, thanks for checking out another episode today. Remember, the best way to support us is to like, subscribe, comment, share this video with a friend. Today I'm going to break down my EDC. Today, guys, what we're going to cover is my EDC primary weapon system. I'm going to cover my belt that I like to use and what I look for in a belt, my EDC secondary carry, blades, things like that, my fanny pack, medical, EDC accessories, and then we're going to wrap it up. Jumping right into my primary weapon system. So my typical everyday that I carry, I do rotate between two different firearms, but my number one that I usually carry every day is going to be the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. So the 2.0, I run a Trijicon SRO on top. This is the compact edition, okay? This is a Trijicon SRO with a 2.5 MOA. I do carry it with a Streamlight TLR 7A on the front of it. I just recently started experimenting around with carrying a light on my EDC. For the most part, for all the years in the past, I really have not done that. But as most recently, I have kind of started doing that. I do run an Apex trigger in my M&P 2.0. I really like the way the Apex trigger is. It's nice and smooth. Been a great pistol, fantastic. You guys know that if you've watched plenty of reviews over the years with us, Eric and I have been running the M&P, put a ton of rounds to it, super reliable. Inside of that pistol, though, I do carry a particular round that I've always been a super huge fan of, and I believe Eric carries the same round and amongst a lot of other individuals that are out there. You guys are pretty well known with it, but I do get this question quite often, hey, what round should I carry? I tend to base my rounds that I want to carry in my pistol off of the length of the barrel of the gun, okay? In the M&P 2.0 compact, that's a 4-inch barrel, so it happens to really like the 124 grain Spear Gold Dot plus P round. If you have a sub gun, you know, you're carrying like one of the micro carry pistols or something like that, there are rounds that are developed a little bit more for those shorter barrels as we start to go below the 4 inches. So that particular round works really good in like Glock 19, 4-inch barrel, 4 1/4, 5-inch barrel guns. So that's the round of my choice that I choose to run in that pistol. The question comes up quite often, why should I not modify my EDC? There's a lot of people that will talk about it and say, hey, from a legality standpoint, you know, if a lawyer's way, they're gonna go after you, gonna attack you for modifying your pistol. To be completely honest with you, I call bull on that. I'm gonna modify my pistol to enhance my abilities as a shooter. As long as those modifications do not affect the reliability of the firearm and make the firearm unsafe. So if you're doing different types of trigger jobs that are out there, there's a lot of different triggers that are out there for like Glocks and things like that. And a lot of those I would not run. I would not touch whatsoever because they tend to make the gun unsafe. There's certain, inside of a striker fire pistol, there are certain parts that you want to keep engaged the entire time. And certain triggers will disengage those internal safeties like safety plungers, stuff like that. So be very careful when you do modify your pistol. But if you do, make sure that you're buying from reputable manufacturers that have done all of the testing that they need to, and then you need to test it yourself. Get out in there and train with your pistol to make sure that it's safe before you actually start strapping it onto your body and carry it. As far as modifying your pistol, I do it. I recommend doing it as long as you're doing it responsibly. So don't just jump out there and buy the first thing that you think and hey, you know what, such and such, Roy carries it, so it's gotta be good. Don't just do it because I do it and somebody else does it. Put the time in behind it to make sure it's safe. The only modification that I have internally to any of my pistols, possibly with the M&P, is the Apex trigger. I actually run the carry version of that. I do not run the competition version of it. That competition for me is a little bit too light I feel like it would be a little bit unsafe for me to EDC that every single day. So I tend to run more of their carry that's designed for duty purposes, concealment, typical normal preparedness of a civilian. So that's the trigger that I do run. I happen to like it quite a bit, but outside of that, that's about the only thing that I do modify. But keep in mind, guys, if you modify your pistols, whether you do ports on them, any of that kind of stuff whatsoever, you do your RMR cuts. RMR cuts are actually a huge one, guys, especially with striker fire pistols. Making sure, we get this question quite often, the screws that go down into the channel where your extractor plungers run, if those screws are entirely too long, they'll run on that plunger and you'll create a ton of malfunctions. This happens very often. So just get out, if you do modify your pistol, make sure that you're putting the time in on it. If you're buying aftermarket parts, like aftermarket slides, that you're testing it beforehand. That is something really, really key. Don't just strap that pistol on and go. If you want a pistol that you're just gonna strap on and go buy a Glock 19 and put some rounds in it and you're good to go. But if you're gonna modify it, guys, I highly suggest that you get out there and put a lot of rounds on. I also suggest if you have a new pistol on the market, we're constantly innovating. The market is constantly changing. Manufacturers are coming out with new product, which is fantastic and it's awesome. But we tend to find after a short period of time, you'll find guys out there, they go and they shoot a couple hundred rounds through it. It's like, oh man, this pistol's great. I love it. I shoot it. It's fantastic. Then you end up with issues 6 months down the road where the gun's malfunctioning. Necessarily, some of them are not even safe. So put the time in, regardless if you modify it or if it's just a new platform that you're starting with. Holster selection, let's cover that. This is something that is super, super important and something that I really try to focus in on. For a safety aspect when it comes to me carrying, but for the ability to also try to make it the most comfortable. At the end of the day, guys, when you're carrying a pistol, there's not a whole lot about it that is comfortable, okay? So for me, I make sure that I purchase a holster from a quality manufacturer, and I do run Kydex, okay? I do have a soft holster. I'll show it to you here in a second. There's only one instance that I typically will run that, but Kydex holsters and making sure that you're picking them up from a reputable manufacturer. This happens to be a T-Rex Arms. T-Rex Arms has obviously been building holsters for quite some time. I don't run the sidecar edition. I used to run the sidecar edition. I felt like it got in my way and it was kind of uncomfortable, and I felt myself not wanting to carry my pistol as often because of that. The moment that I took that off, it was like, okay, this is a lot more comfortable. At the end of the day, guys, it's about leaving the house with your gun and carrying it as often as you possibly can, and if you're not comfortable, then you're probably not going to do it. So taking the time, you may end up buying tons of holsters. You know, I got a drawer full of them at the house that I no longer use. So the T-Rex Arms, they build a really, really solid holster, really, really solid Kydex. There is some maintenance that you need to do in your holsters, making sure that your screws are nice and tight. Once you have your holster fit, your clip position, your retention, most of these Kydex holsters have retention screws on them. Once you kind of have it set where you like it, I would highly suggest that you Loctite those screws down. I do have another holster that I carry with that is Kydex. It's from a local company. Traditional Arms. This is probably actually my preferred holster that I run a lot, so I rotate between the two. Most recently, I've kind of transitioned to carrying with the Traditional Arms one most of the time. My biggest reason why I was running the T-Rex is because of the sidecar. It gave me that ability to carry an extra magazine. So if you're going to meet somebody off of Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or something like that, you know, having a sidecar holster is kind of nice, having that extra magazine just in case you need it. So Traditional Arms, we are huge fans of supporting them. They're a local company. He is also a shooter, very much like T-Rex Arms. Lucas over there, those guys are shooters too. But Traditional Arms has reached out to us multiple times and said, hey, we have a discount code for your followers. So jump down in the comment section down there in the description. You'll find a discount code for that. So fantastic holster, very, very reliable. Have had zero issues out of it whatsoever. I do want to cover one other holster and one other firearm here with you guys that I kind of skipped over a second ago. This is the only soft holster that I carry. This is a DeSantis. And the reason why I carry this is I have a revolver. I rotate between revolvers. As of most recently, I've actually been carrying a Kimber K6. This is the lightweight version. This is the 38 Special. All right, this is a 6-shot 38 special. The reason why I like this revolver, guys, and I like carrying a revolver, is just for if I'm going to go work out, going to go to the gym or something like that, or hey, I just need something super light. Remember, the #1 goal when it comes to finding a pistol or carrying a pistol is to find something that you're going to leave the house with every day. So you may have a couple different firearms to choose from, and that's where mine comes into play. My semi-automatic pistol, my M&P 2.0 compact, that's my preferred. That's what I'm going to be the most accurate with. That's what I spend the most amount of time with. That's the one. That's my go-to. But if I need something different just to make me slow down, or not slow down, but to become a little bit more comfortable based on, you know, what I'm wearing, kind of dress around my wardrobe. If I got a pair of gym shorts on or something like that going to the gym, it's a much lighter weight. And that's kind of where that holster comes into play. I do not need, it's made out of a really grippy material, so I don't need a belt or anything like that to carry it. I can actually just slide it right inside of my waistline, and a very, very comfortable way of carrying a firearm. Once again, if you're going to carry a revolver, guys, you definitely need to get out and train with it, because revolvers are very difficult to master. All right, semi-automatic pistols are very, very simple. Revolvers, the old saying, hey, get a revolver because it's the, you know, they don't fail. They're easy to use. Well, they may be easy to use, but they're not necessarily the easiest to become accurate and proficient with. A semi-automatic pistol is definitely going to be more proficient. So preferred M&P 2.0. But whenever I want that lightweight minimalist carry or something that I want to drop in my pocket, that's when I move to the revolver. So some considerations when we're talking about holsters. A couple of things that I typically steer away from, or if you come and take a class with us, that we will not allow in our class. #1, leather. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't recommend leather. If you do have a leather holster, remember, leather fails after a certain point in time. So you need to be diligent in making sure that that leather is holding up, that the edges around where you hold when you're holstering your pistol, that these edges do not have the ability to fold in. Very much like my neoprene holster that I have over here with this grippy material. Anytime that I holster this weapon, I want to make sure that this is not going to fold over. You will never find me with this in my waistline and then holstering the gun. With this, I take this holster off every single time and deliberately take my time holstering it to make sure that nothing gets into my trigger well. Really, this is the only time that I find this holster is acceptable, is for that minimalist carry. Leather holsters, they break down over time, so really need to take and need more maintenance. So I don't recommend leather holsters. If you're the individual, you do you at the end of the day, if you're carrying with leather, but please make sure that you're taking the time to make sure to keep with an upkeep on that holster to make sure it's staying in good shape, and then replace it after a certain point in time. Our Blackhawk Serpa holsters, any of the holsters that have the button down and around the trigger guard. Guys, you used to be able to go out there on YouTube, I don't know if you still can, you can find tons and tons of videos with people discharging their firearms when they're trying to deholster, when they're trying to draw their firearm, okay? Don't recommend those. They are really not good for concealed carry. They're super bulky anyways. At the end of the day, when it comes to concealed carry, we're trying to be as minimalist as possible, but those types of holsters are definitely unsafe, and I would steer away from them. That's more of an open carry holster. So for you guys that are in open carry states, I wish we were an open carry state here in Florida. They call us constitutional carry, but it's really not constitutional carry. But for you guys that are in open carry states like Tennessee, things like that, I would avoid those type of holsters. Any of your Uncle Mike's holsters that are just that really, really soft, cheap neoprene, I would avoid those, okay? Those are very dangerous holsters. I've worked in a gun shop for very many years, and I've also worked in an indoor range. And unfortunately, I've watched one too many times somebody discharge a weapon onto themselves or in near to themselves when they're holstering their firearm due to the fact of that their holster was unsafe. So I would highly suggest that you pick a good quality manufacturer like Traditional Arms. Remember, we have a discount code right down in the description that build a high quality Kydex holster, okay? If you're gonna go neoprene, make sure it's a reputable company, somebody like DeSantis or something like that, that has a very high quality. I replace this holster quite often, okay? This is a consumable item. The moment that the edges start to flex on it, I replace it, okay? I've went through 3 or 4 of these over the years. It's not a buy once, cry once thing. You buy this, yes, this may last. I have some of these that are almost 10 years old. Kydex doesn't fail, all right? So something that allows you to carry that firearm comfortably and is equally as important as the rest of the stuff that we have on our body. Actually, I put a ton of focus into my belt, okay? So I'm gonna talk about my belts. My preferred go-to belt that I typically carry with on a daily basis is the core belt. I like the way that they very smoothly, they have this ratcheting system here. You guys can hear it, right? They have that ratcheting system as far as tightening it down, and it holds very strong, okay? What I look for in a belt is something that is very flexible, like this, that can bend and move around my hips, okay? But what I don't want is a belt that will pinch over, okay? If I can pinch the belt over and it has this flex where I can pinch it in the middle, something like that, that belt is not going to support the firearm very well. So it's gonna put all that weight and the gun's gonna wanna lean out and you're gonna have a problem with imprinting. I don't really care if I imprint, but the more that the gun wants to lean, the more it starts to dig into my waistline, starts to kind of, I carry appendix, so it'll start to dig into my groin area. If I have a really solid stiff belt around the edges here where it doesn't pinch over, that belt is going to support the weight and it's gonna suck it into my gut a lot more, which is gonna allow me to carry that pistol significantly more comfortable, but also allow that pistol to conceal very, very easy. Imprinting, you know, at the end of the day, it's really not that big of a deal, but also at the same time, I want to be as gray as possible. So I don't want people being able to see the outline of my pistol, okay? Even if we were open carry state, I probably still would choose concealed carry, just for the fact of that. So I really take a lot of time focusing on my belt. The core belt is a really, really good one. The Magpul belt is also a really good one. That is kind of like my typical normal everyday belt that I wear. That being said, it's also really, really nice. So if you're kind of going out, it is a really nice belt. My other one that I carry is kind of more of like my, hey, I'm trying to be a little bit more comfortable, trying to be a little bit more athletic. Maybe I'm going for a workout or something and I want to still be able to carry a belt. I run the Tier 1 concealment. I don't know the exact name of it, but it's a Tier 1 concealment belt, and it has more of an elastic feel to it on the back side that wraps around your body, and then the front side that supports the weight is very rigid, very much like this core belt, where you cannot bend it or flex it over. But the nice thing about that belt is it's really, really flexible around your waist. So if you're doing any kind of activities, you're doing any kind of strenuous activities like working out or something like that, that belt is extremely comfortable to go with. If you're looking for more recommendations on belts, definitely comment down below. If you guys have been carrying with a manufacturer that builds a quality belt, comment down below, because so many people, guys, I've worked, like I said, I've worked in this industry for a very long time, and I've dealt with a lot of people when it comes to concealed carry, and a lot of guys will spend a lot of time and effort in their gun itself and their setup in their firearm and spend very little time on their belt and the things that complement to make it more comfortable. So something else that that typically is going to be on my belt, I tend to carry a EDC, my secondary weapon. Okay, so my EDC blade that I'm utilizing for defensive purposes. Now I carry two blades. One of them is going to be more of a tool that I use. The other is going to be strictly for the only time that it comes out, for the exception of me kind of playing with it as a fidget tool, is more for strictly defensive purposes. All right, and that is the clinch pick from ShivWorks. Okay, this thing, guys, I have been working on trying to figure out how to carry a fixed blade for many, many years. I've experimented around with a ton of different blades, carrying in the pocket to carrying inside the waistline, purchasing specifically made holsters for carrying inside the waistline, and I really haven't ever found anything that was comfortable to carry and that was easy to draw. Okay, something that I was very proficient with drawing. The clinch pick, I can carry it right in the appendix area. So it's an area that I can reach with either hand. I've trained with this in the aspect of, you know, working off the ground in close confined spaces. This blade is incredibly comfortable to carry. All right, it wields really, really well in the hand. Just really, really nice. This is the single edge version of it. They do a double edge version. When I say that, they have an edge on the top and they also have an edge on the bottom. I do believe that is like a 2.0 version, the double edge, but they do offer this in both ways. One of the cool factors to it is they also offer a training blade, okay? So you can actually train with it. So when I look for a manufacturer that builds a fixed blade knife, I like to try to find to see if they offer some type of training aid. And ShivWorks does. They offer the hard version of this here, and they also offer a soft version, more of like a Nerf, very, very soft. So you can actually, if you ever take any kind of combatives type classes or something like that, you can actually utilize it in that class. So that's one of the key things when I look for that. One of the other blades that I carry is a Leatherman, okay? So this is like on me every single day. My buddy Seth turned me onto this, and since he has, it's been a complete life changer for me. So this is just a normal, typical tool, has a blade on it. It has my, I do believe it's called the Skeletor. Yep, Skeletal is what it's called. So I do have the ability for a flat head on here, a Phillips head. I've actually bought some extra attachments for it that are Torx bit. We find in the gun industry, obviously, a lot of screws, a lot of bolts are Torx. So I bought a couple extra bits for that. So I have a set of pliers, I have a knife, and then probably the most important, I got a bottle opener. So that is probably, you will not find me leaving the house ever without this. This is definitely my favorite thing that I carry on my body.
Hey guys, I want to talk to you about today's sponsor today, and that is PARD. If you're looking to increase your toolbox and what you have the abilities to do, getting a thermal unit is something that I would highly think about and maybe consider for the future. Starting off with the housing, very rugged in comparison to the features that you get when it comes to the PARD thermal. What's also cool about this thermal is it does have a rechargeable battery, so that way you can utilize maybe an external battery source or even a solar panel to be able to recharge that battery and not have to worry about spending expendable batteries to be able to power your optic. It does have the ability to record. You can also take pictures. It even flips into different modes of thermal imaging, so that way you can do you can do color, you can do white hot, black hot, and you can kind of switch between different things to be able to get the most clarity on your image. It also does have a digital zoom that allows you to be able to see your target closer, and has multiple different reticles, colors, and styles. My favorite is actually the one that has the wind holds on there. To include, one of the other features that they have on the PARD unit is the ability to range find. You can actually press on one of these buttons that allows you to get the distance from yourself to the target to make sure that you have the most highest probability of making that shot accurately. What's really neat about this in general, one of the other cool things about this unit is the fact that it has an overt laser. So if you didn't want to run thermal, maybe you're hunting hogs and you want to run just a laser pointer, you can actually turn on that overt laser to be able to utilize that for those kill shots. And also it does have a throw lever for their adjustment ring to make sure that you can actually pull that image into focus very, very quickly, because as we know, once you get some of those targets that start moving towards you closer or further away, it starts to go out of focus, and you need to be able to adjust the focus very, very fast. This thing is really, really impressive, especially for what you get out of the package. And so I would highly recommend checking out PARD, and we will actually be doing a full length video on this unit in the future. So I want to say a special thanks to our sponsor PARD, and go check them out at pard.com.
We've covered a lot of cool things, right? We've covered pistols. We've covered talking about belts. We've covered secondary weapons when it comes to, you know, knives. All right, those are the hot topics. Those are the sexy topics, right? That we look for. To me, what I probably find the most sexiest is my fanny pack. Yeah, my wife loves it. This one right here is a little, it's a little plain, okay? I do have a couple of others that are, you know, a little more stylish, okay? You guys can tell that I get super stylish, right? My wife yells at me. She said, all you ever wear is free shirts, okay? But all right, my fanny pack. While I carry a fanny pack, I don't really carry a ton of extra accessories in my fanny pack. The whole reason why I carry a fanny pack is strictly for medical. All right. This fanny pack is from Wiseman Company. This is called their Hula Pack. This has become my favorite fanny pack that I carry. I have a few other manufacturers that I do occasionally mess around with, but the Wiseman Company Hula Pack, okay? And I'm telling you guys this not just because Ben and those guys are my friend over there, but I have tested multiple fanny packs, and this is my go-to. I like the strap that they have around it. I like the way the pocket positions are. The zippers on it are really, really easy to get in and out of. And it just looks good. It's got a good look to it. If you can call a fanny pack good looking, all right? Personally, I like the way it looks, okay? So the Hula Pack is my go-to fanny pack. Some really, really nice features to it. Like I said, the zippers are really, really smooth on it, so it's easy to get in and out of. The pocket placement on it, they have a front pocket. In the front pocket, I can carry some additional accessories. I carry more medical in there. And then it has a back pocket that actually does not have a zipper on it at all, which you'll find most of the time that I'm carrying a cell phone in, which is really nice. So the back pocket right here, I can just carry my cell phone in it if I want to go. I hate having stuff in my pockets, guys. I can't stand having keys and everything else. I already carry enough stuff in my pockets, knives, flashlights, all that kind of stuff. If I can dump my phone out of there, it's one less thing that I have to have. I can put it on the fanny pack. It's more comfortable around my waist. So I really like the Hula Pack because of the way the storage is set up. But moving into what's inside of it, that's probably the most important thing. So for me, my number one focus that I carry in it is some type of medical aid. In the front pouch, I carry a set of gloves, okay? A set of nitrate gloves. These fold up nice and sealed, so they're sanitized. I don't necessarily carry those specifically for the purposes of needing to utilize them in a trauma situation. They're utilized primarily with this boo-boo kit right here, okay? You never know when you're out somewhere and someone gets a scratch, okay? If it's one of my kids, it's one of my family members, it's my dad, whatever, obviously I'm not taking the time to necessarily put a pair of gloves on, but very much like just the other day, I happened to be in a Lowe's and there was an elderly gentleman that was messing around with some lumber and got a very deep cut on himself that needed some type of attention to it, okay? It wasn't intention that we needed some type of major trauma or call a medic or anything like that, but I happened to be walking down the aisle and seen that he was pouring blood out all over the place, okay? So I permits to add some aid to him. I had my boo-boo kit on it. These boo-boo kits are on our website right here. This is another great way to support us, guys. These kits are freaking awesome. I love them. They come in a nice Ziploc bag, and then they have all the contents on the back side of them here, so you can kind of read that off exactly what they have in them. So I was able to break out my sanitized nitrate gloves, put those on, administer some aid to him, bandage him up, and then we threw that away, and then he was good to go about his way. So boo-boo kit, a must-have. Moving into what I tend to call the sexy stuff in here would be my medical. For a tourniquet, I've always carried a cat tourniquet as of most recently, just to kind of minimize and make things a little bit more compact. I've started carrying this M2 ratcheting tourniquet. Before you get a tourniquet, buy your tourniquets, but before you deploy your tourniquet and put it in your kit, train with it. And when I say train with it, buy either trainers or buy an additional tourniquet, okay? So if you have a cat tourniquet and you only want one cat tourniquet, buy another cat tourniquet. Make sure that you're buying tourniquets from a reputable source, that you're buying them from a company that's not getting some Chinese knockoff, okay? Because those tourniquets will break, all right? We've tested them. We have a medical class with Todd. He's tested them. They don't hold up. They will break, all right? So make sure whenever you're buying a tourniquet that you're buying from a reputable company. The other thing is when you're buying a tourniquet, like I said, you need to train with it, especially if you're introducing something new, all right? So for myself, I have always carried a cat TQ, all right? So most recently I've started carrying this ratcheting tourniquet, so I needed to put some time in behind it. So I purchased two of them. So one is a training tourniquet and one is in my EDC kit. The nice thing I like about this, it's very simple to use. You can very easily utilize it one-handed. Your kids can use it. Even someone that has strength issues, because of the ratcheting mechanism that's in it, they can still get it very, very tight. So that's kind of been my go-to as of lately. And like I said, once again, I also carry it because it gets very compact. The next item in here is a prototype, all right? I carry this inside of my fanny pack, and the reason why I carry my medical inside of this, if I just need to grab this out and hand it off to somebody, I can hand it off to Eric, I can hand it off to Seth, Ben, whoever may be around me, and now they have medical, okay? All right, so they have some additional medical with them, or they can administer medical to me. I can say inside my fanny pack, there's an entire med kit. So this becomes very mobile. If I'm out on the range and there happens to be a student that doesn't have medical with them, we like for every student that we have to have some type of medical on them, I can grab this out of my fanny pack that I would typically EDC, and I can just hand it over to them and say, hey, here's a med kit for you to carry. Very, very easy. I can also hand them my entire fanny pack and they can throw that on their waistline as well. But if they have a way of carrying this inside of an additional pouch on their body, they can do so. Cool thing about this prototype right here, hopefully this will be released on the website at some point in time. This actually will fit inside of the Ghost mag carrier, so it'll just slide straight down in. So if you want to alleviate, say, hey, I'm already carrying 4 mags in my Ghost, and I want to carry some additional type stuff, this actually fits directly down inside of it. This basically is pretty much identical to what a typical, EDC or typical IFAC would have in it. We have some trauma dressing type stuff. We have some gauze. We have some heat warmers in here. I have a thermal blanket. So we have a few different things that are in here. I have a chest seal inside of here. So it's packed in here nice and compact, and it fits inside my fanny pack very, very easily. So, by the way, if you don't know how to use medical, still own it. But if you want to learn how to use it, hit us up. We have a great medical instructor, Todd, Guardian Casualty. He is fantastic. I love his class. I've taken tons of classes over the years when it comes to medical, and Todd is definitely probably my favorite instructor. All right. All right, so let's cover some EDC accessories that I carry with me. All right, so we typically have those EDC pocket dumps. How much stuff can you possibly carry? Well, you can carry quite a bit of stuff if you kind of fine tune it once again to what your daily wear is and how comfortable that you want to be. Okay, so one of the other tools that I carry on myself that I use quite often is a flashlight. This is the Streamlight Micro Stream. All right. This is the rechargeable one. I really like this light a lot. It's been very, very durable. I've had it for several years. The reason why I like it is because it is rechargeable. So I have like 3 or 4 of these, and I just rotate them through my kit. So I have one on charge sitting by my bedside. I have one on charge in my truck. So if one goes dead, I can immediately swap it out. So I constantly have these. They're not incredibly expensive whatsoever. You can pick these up on Amazon. Maybe one day we'll have them on the website. There's plenty of other great sources to buy them out there. But I do believe typically they're around about 69, 70 bucks, and it's a pretty good light, okay? Very, very good flood to it. All right, so I have this, and this tool is very, very useful. I've been places before where I just need to shine light into a dark alley, or, I live in a more of a rural area, so maybe I need to shine some light before I get out of my vehicle, depending on where we're at, into kind of a wood line area to see, hey, something felt kind of odd over there. I can break that flashlight out and I just kind of shine it, give myself a glimpse in what's going on. Dark spots in parking lots, whatever. Carry a light. This is very easy, very lightweight. Once you start carrying one of these, you'll probably not leave home without it. All right. Other EDC accessories that I carry is I carry pepper spray. All right, pepper spray. I've actually been carrying pepper spray for quite some time. I've only utilized it one time. Now this is something that is a disposable item. It is consumable, so it does have an expiration date on it. All right, so you do want to look at those expiration dates. Make sure when you're buying it, it's not already expired. But once you've carried it for a certain point in time, use it as a trainer. Practice with it, whatever it is, and then dispose of it, replace it. I have had the opportunity to use this one time. I had some dogs that were chasing me down on a run that wouldn't leave me alone, that were nipping at me, and unfortunately I had to use pepper spray on them. I do love dogs, guys. I'm a huge dog fan. I would much rather utilize this pepper spray on a dog to get them off of me than utilizing something that's lethal, okay? I'm not the ATF here. So, pepper spray, right? So definitely carry pepper spray. It works really, really good. There's plenty of situations, where you may be somewhere recently, not too long ago. I happened to be in a walk-in clinic where a individual came in that was relatively very strung out on drugs and refused to leave. Okay, but it was not a life-threatening type situation. I felt pretty confident if I needed to use something, I at least had my pepper spray with me that could have deterred him off and at least got him out of there. Now, I didn't have to end up using it, but it's a good thing to have with you, so you don't necessarily have to always, don't focus in on so much to the lethal force at the end of the day. No, God forbid, none of us want to take someone's life, so have other alternatives there that you may be able to de-escalate with or something like that. So I do carry pepper spray. It's a fantastic item to have, very easy to carry in your pocket, lightweight. You don't even know that you have it on you. Okay, so one of the other accessories, obviously we got to have somewhere where we put all our cash, right? And our credit cards, our debit cards, all that digital money, right? Okay, all this wonderful currency that we work so hard for our government just take away from us, right? Okay, so I carry the Wiseman Company. I'm like a walking billboard, right, for Wiseman Company, right? I love those guys over there. All right, Ben, I love you. The Geek, okay? I recently transitioned to this for the fact of because how thin it is. I don't like I said earlier, guys, I don't like having stuff inside my pockets, but if I do, I want it to be very, very comfortable, all right? And this is very, very thin, and plus it has a ton of storage in it. We have some areas for some credit cards, things like that inside here, so I can carry plenty of credit cards for all my debt. I have a zipper pouch on the back side here that I can put stuff in, and then I also have another pouch right here that I can jam some additional stuff in. I don't carry a ton of stuff in here outside of my credit cards and my driver's license, but I do carry inside of that a Write in the Rain, all right? For me, I try to utilize something for note-taking outside of my phone as often as possible. For myself, I happen to be the individual, if I pick up my phone, I'm probably gonna jump on Instagram, or I'm probably gonna jump on some type of social media platform, and I'm gonna get lost. All right, that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to spend a lot of time. I'm going to take what would have taken me just a minute or two to type up a note in my phone. I'll probably end up spending an additional 15 minutes scrolling through Instagram watching mindless reels, okay? All right. So for me, if I got to take a note down, I just grab my wallet out and I grab my Write in the Rain. I did chop this down. I actually put it in a paper cutter so it will fit inside of the Geek nice and tight. So I just basically just shove it straight in here and then I can zip it up right there. I do carry a small pencil, so inside here, either a Write in the Rain pencil, or this is actually something my daughter gave me recently, just a little click pencil right there. So I can write my notes in there. One of the other things that I actually use it for sometimes is during my Bible studies, okay? For myself, I have a hard time remembering to do certain things, okay? And necessarily remembering Bible verses, so certain verses may stand out to me during my Bible study, and I'll actually write them down and I'll put it in here. That way, if I need to relate back to it or I want to read it again or something, and I don't have my Bible with me, and I know, yes, I can go to my Bible app, but once again, my Bible app is going to my phone. And once I go to my phone, I'm probably going to get lost in some emails or get lost in Instagram or something like that. So I'm trying to do everything I possibly can to avoid touching the phone and moving more back to something a little bit more simple. And that's why I carry a Write in the Rain. So I'll jot down some notes or daily tasks that I have to do. Eric may send me something, say, hey, when you get to the office, can you do this for me or something like that? I'll break that out and I'll write it down in there. That way when I go down, and I just have a daily checklist that I walk down through. And like I said, I'll also write down some Bible verses in here that I kind of want to remind myself through, kind of read through or something like that throughout the day. Or if I happen to be in conversation with somebody and that may need something at that particular point in time, and I can aid them to that. And I can't remember what that verse is off the top of my head, but I'll remember, you know what, I wrote that down. Let me read that to that individual at that particular moment. Okay, so the Geek, this is great. It is a little bit wide, but it does fit inside of a standard pocket, so I don't have any issues. If you wear cargo shorts or something like that, cargo pants, it fits in there great. It's actually really, really comfortable to carry. Other accessories that I carry as far as typical, normal, everyday is obviously sunglasses. Eric and I are on the range quite often, so I have a set of clears in these, and I also have them in sunglasses. These are bolt and arrow. Bolt and Arrow is the manufacturer. We'll leave a link down in the description down there for those guys. But these glasses are very stylish. I happen to like this style of framing, and then they're also been very durable. Okay, so nice clean look, nothing gaudy to them or anything like that. Just a nice flat black with some black lenses. So these are obviously on me constantly all the time. I have a pair in my truck. I have a pair on my body. I keep a pair in my range bag, and they also, once again, they make them in clears. Okay, and those clears actually have a anti-blue light coating on them. So for instance, I spend a decent amount of time throughout the day in front of a computer, and that blue light starts to affect my eyes quite often. So I will wear the clears occasionally just to kind of help with the blue light. So those are great glasses, very, very comfortable, and they've been very, very durable. Other accessories, obviously a hat. I typically will always have a hat on. I'm getting older, I'm 41 now. Almost 42, so I'm starting to get a bald spot up top. My preferred hats are definitely the Barrel and Hatchet hat, so if you want to support us again, jump on the website, pick up a Barrel and Hatchet hat. But other hats that I like from other companies, once again, Wiseman Company, they have their buttonless hat. That's a fantastic one. I do believe the guys over there, Dirty Civilian, they have a very similar hat to that also that has no button on the top of it. That's a very comfortable hat. I like the hats that fold up and we can kind of crumble, like the 47, the dad cap type thing. I can crumble it up, I can pull it out of a bag, I can toss it on, and it fits just right, okay? The more wear that they get on them, the dirtier they are, the better they are, okay? As far as accessories, that's pretty much basically what I have on my body, typically throughout a daily task. That's what I wake up and leave the house with every morning. Now, sometimes I may drop something off of there. If I do, it'll end up in my pocket. A couple of things that we're probably going to have questions about is, hey, do you carry an extra magazine? Occasionally I do carry an extra magazine. That's where that sidecar holster comes into play, like I was talking about earlier. Or I'll just drop that magazine inside my fanny pack, or I'll drop that magazine inside of a pocket, okay? Where was I?
So after the magazine, you could say at the end of the day, yeah, or just wrap it up.
Okay.
Like wrapping things up.
So yeah, I'll take that magazine, guys, and I'll kind of drop it in a pocket or, you know, inside my fanny pack. But at the end of the day, guys, whatever you're carrying, you need to get out and actually train with it, okay? You need to spend some time, whether that's your medical equipment that you're carrying, whether it's your secondary weapon and your blade, you need to do some training with it. Your primary weapon, you need to get out and train with it. If it's a primary weapon that you haven't spent a lot of time behind, like I covered earlier in the beginning, making sure that you spend a lot of time behind that weapon before you decide to carry it on your body, doing your own quality control, making sure that that firearm, that weapon system is reliable, okay guys? So it's very, very key. So get out and train, spend some time doing that. Figuring out, we talk about, we talk about kit and gear all the time, all right? We get a lot of questions on kit and gear. Hey, what kind of battle belt should I have? What kind of chest rig? What kind of plate carrier? This EDC stuff is just as important as that stuff, okay? This is something that you're putting on your body every day. You have to find what fits you. This is just what fits me, all right? There may be items here that you're like, oh man, I really want to try that. Try it, you know? It's one of those things. You may end up liking it and you may not. This is what I have found that fits my lifestyle and what I do, okay? So guys, in closing here, if you found anything useful in this video, please make sure that you, once again, like, subscribe, and share that with a friend. Jump down in that comment section. You guys know that's what drives the algorithm. And also, it's a great place for information. It's a great community builder. There's going to be somebody in there that's looking for information. So make sure that you're jumping down in that comment section, guys. It is a great way of keeping this channel alive. If you know somebody, once again, that could utilize this information, that's looking, searching, you know, for what type of gear that they should utilize when it comes to concealed carry, make sure that you share this video with them, okay? You guys know where to find us, but if you want to kind of see behind the scenes, jump on Instagram. I have my Roy at Barrel and Hatchet. All of them will be down in the bottom. We have our main page, Barrel and Hatchet. That one's obviously the most active. That's where you're going to get the most behind the scenes. If you guys like watching lives and have a lot of live Q&As, we at least do 1 or 2 per week. So jump on Instagram. We do a ton of live Q&As up there, so a great way of kind of connecting with us, great way of getting some of those questions just answered immediately right then and there. We also do a weekly giveaway, and we announce those weekly giveaways on Instagram Live. So every one day we're giving a giveaway away. And we're also announcing what the new giveaway is. Generally speaking, what you're going to do is you're going to jump on our website and make any kind of purchase. It doesn't matter what it is. You want to buy a sticker, that automatically gets you into a giveaway. Most of the time those giveaways are going to be some slings, it may be t-shirts, maybe a hat. Heck, we got one that we're working on here in the future that might be, you know, some barrels or a training class or something whatsoever. Okay? Another great way of supporting us, guys, is to come out and train with us. It's a way for you to get something back to you, but also keeping us doing what we love, providing information. Okay? So come out and train with us. In closing, guys, the last thing that I want to leave you with is a Bible verse today, and that verse is Colossians 1:17. He himself before all things, and all things are held together by him. Guys, that really hits home with me, and I try to start my day in understanding what it truly means to put God first, what it truly means to put Jesus first, okay? And that Bible verse really hits home with me. I want to leave that with you guys, and making sure, understanding, and if you don't know what that means to truly, maybe you only know of God or you only know of Jesus, or you think, hey, because I've went to church all these years and stuff like that, but you still don't necessarily know what it means to put Jesus first, guys, hit us up, send us a DM. If you're lost and you kind of don't know a direction right now, and you're curious and you want to learn what this is all about, send us a message. We'd love to send you a gift. We'd love to send you a Bible. If you got questions, if you're new in your study and you're new in your Bible study, this is an internal adventure. This isn't a journey. We talk about training all the time. Enjoy the journey. Guys, when it comes to becoming an eternal asset, enjoy the journey of it, okay? Enjoy building that relationship with God. Enjoy building that relationship with Jesus, guys. And that's what it truly means to put Jesus first, and that's what it truly means to put God first. Hold those conversations with him, guys, in your prayers. And if you guys have any prayers, obviously comment those down there below. DM us, send us a message or anything like that. We'd love to pray for you. Yeah. That's it, guys. We appreciate it.